Overnight, House Republicans passed President Donald Trump's proposed $9 billion cuts package. For more details this morning, we're live with Scripps News Group political correspondent Nate Reed. Nate, what's next for the bill and what's on the line with these cuts?
Yeah, Kira, well, now the bill goes to President Trump's desk. Republicans were largely successful. They got this through the House of Representatives and the Senate. In fact, they got it through the House twice. Republicans in the Senate made a couple of changes, meaning the House of Representatives needed to pass it again, and they did so just after midnight early this morning. Now that this bill is finished, it goes to Trump's desk. They can now begin the process of formally clawing back some of that money allocated to the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. You might remember all of the court cases that played out earlier this year when the Department of Government Efficiency effectively shut down U.S. Agency for International Development. Now, Congress has actually spoken and said, we're going to claw that funding back, meaning that those programs can wind down. There's less of a legal case there for people who are trying to keep that international aid alive. This also claws back, though, funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and they fund NPR and PBS. The national stations, they will likely be fine. They only get a small percentage of their funding through the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, but smaller local stations all across the country, they could be in serious trouble now. The CEO of NPR warning after this bill passed that local stations, some of the smallest local rural NPR stations, might have to fold because they simply will not have the funds to stay on the air. That's a big concern to Democrats and even some Republicans. You might remember the flooding that we saw, the awful flooding we saw in Texas in just the past couple of weeks. In a small, local, rural community in the U.S., you tune into the radio to try and see if there's an evacuation warning. One of your only options might be NPR, or if you're watching TV, PBS. A lot of concern that those stations, come October 1st, when these cuts take effect, won't have funding and will cease to exist.
That's good information, Nate. And